Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video, and this time I have a little bit different of a walkthrough to go over. Today I am looking at the new version of the Zerner Farber Tarot. I'm going to be honest right off the bat, this deck is not new at all, in the sense that it has had several iterations before, okay? The most popular version of this deck, I think, has been known as the Enchanted Tarot, and it was like really long, I guess. Kind of like the Yonasa Yao 7th edition now it is. It's like really long and like that. But this is the newest version by Schiffer Redfeather. In the US, it's for $29.99 currently. I got this for my birthday and I wanted to show it. See, you can, Amy Zerner, Monty Farber. I wanted to show this off because of this part. So if you look at this side of the box, it even says here, this deck comes with 12 master spreads using from 3 to 13 cards to understand and experience more meaning from the forces that affect you. That is such a difference compared to so many like starter decks and things. So I wanted to show part of that off for the guidebook, but also just how this new edition or new iteration of the deck shows off the art. This box, I'm not gonna lie, I will probably be ditching this box, or at least putting it in some kind of storage, because as you can see, it is gigantic. But the guidebook it comes with in this version is also equally gigantic. So let's look at that first before I go actually into the deck. Okay, as you can see here, this is the, let me actually adjust this, sorry. This is the Zerner Farber. This guidebook, if you were just learning tarot, this guidebook is chunky, okay? Chunky. This is showing the Chariot card in this deck. Doesn't have anything on the back. This texture is interesting. The book is like kind of smooth. And it is, like I said, it is thick. But as you can see, I'm just going to flip to a random page so you can see. This guidebook is really cool because every single card, whether it's a minor or major arcana, has a whole page where you can see the image in color. And then it has upright and reverse meanings, okay? Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry in advance if you can hear, I'm pausing for a second. So sorry in advance if you can hear my washing machine going. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't really have space for anything else, so you might hear noise or my air conditioning in the background. So sorry about that. Anyways, though, big deal is that it does have this colored image, upright, reverse meaning. So this guidebook by far is one of the most detailed guidebooks I personally own. There may be people who have, I don't know, decks with better guidebooks, but this one is pretty detailed to me. I want to talk a little bit about the fact, though. Now, I kept the cards in order. I've only looked through them once, so you guys can see things. But this deck is interesting. It's not new, so a lot of people probably know this already, but if you don't, I'm going to say it. If I had to explain what system this deck follows, I would tell you it's almost its own, because it follows bits and pieces from the traditional Tarot de Marseille, but it also has Thoth leanings in the minors, it looks like the way that the images are presented. Granted, I don't read Thoth currently, but I know, based on like seeing the decks around, the Thoth decks around, I can tell that's the same placement as Thoth. But then the meanings and other things have to do with RWS. Oh, and also the core cards. Now, I don't like this, and this is also probably why I don't care about... Sorry for people who like Thoth. I don't care for the fact that the page and the knight are changed in this deck. You're going to see it as princess and prince. And the reason why I personally don't care for that is, if you're not aware, I am non-binary, so gender essentialism is stupid to me. I'm just saying, I don't mind the other meanings, but it's okay. I can ignore it for this deck, but yeah. Anyways, that's not the important part. That was a tangent. The contents of this book, as you can see, it has an introduction, a gentle warning. I don't quite know what you'd be warning about, but maybe I'll check that out later. Secrets about the tarot, the Zerner Farber tarot, major arcana, minor, wands. It goes into other things. Oh, by the way, no cups. Well, it is cups, but it's renamed hearts in this deck. I don't know why, but it's wands, swords, hearts, pentacles. This is what I mean. Like, this deck, I feel like is its own system. So I guess we're going to be exploring that together. Numerical significances across the suits. Secrets for shuffling, cutting, and asking your deck questions. Asking your first question. And then there's stuff about all the different spreads. So I'm curious. I'm just going to see if I can find it. Sorry. Flipping. Oh, that's why it's a gentle warning. This part I think is good though for some people, especially if you're new to tarot, to remember this part. It says here, I'm going to read this before going on to the other stuff. The tarot is not meant to dictate your actions or run your life. Rather than telling you what to do, the cards and various spread techniques will offer advice and put you in touch with how you feel about what is going on in your life, thereby helping you make better decisions. It's not... Yeah, if you start letting tarot run your life, that starts becoming a problem. But anyways, not to get too on my high horse here, let's go into the rest. So as it shows you, what I do like, each of the suits in this deck have keywords associated with them. I do find it interesting that for wands, they put business in here. Because I wouldn't necessarily say the wands are business. I would have put business under the pentacles, personally. So that's an interesting choice. But I guess it's like creative endeavors can feel like a business. But yeah, there's keywords for everything. So if you have this deck, you'll be able to see. And it gives you a little brief overview. So this is like very thorough. This is a very good, already I can tell it's very good for beginners if you wanted to get into tarot, with the caveat that this basically fuses a few systems together. So that might get a little complicated when you're trying to read like individual decks, if this was going to be your first. But it also gives you numerical significances across the suits, from ace, of course, to even the core cards. So very cool. Tells you bits about shuffling, asking your first questions for tarot. And then, as I said, it jumps right into the cards. So every single card, you know, like I already said, you'll have the full color here, keyword, title, upright, and reverse. So very nice. But the main reason why I kind of wanted to do a walkthrough of this, I feel like I'm like going all every which way. I just got off work and my mind's a little scattered. Anyways, what I think beginners would have very much appreciate about this guidebook, though, is that, as this says, there are 12 master spreads. And they tell you every single one. So there is a mind, body, spirit spread, law of attraction, past, present, future, you know, the typical. This one shows as a 4 card, but obviously a lot of times it's just 3. Chakra spread, the lucky horseshoe spread, wish upon a star, relationships, spiritual growth, tree of life, just, you know, like, I guess thought, leanings, and the mandala. And it even shows Celtic cross and the zodiac wheel. But what I find really cool about the fact that it has these 12 spreads is not only, so look, they start it off, they tell you what it is, they tell you how to do it, they show you the placement, but they also give you a sample. So if you're a beginner and you're like, well, cool, I don't know what any of this would mean in an actual reading, this gives you an example reading to tell you what it could mean. So that is really, really cool, I will say. And I like that it includes it. So yeah, there are a lot of spreads though. Some of these I'm really interested in attempting one day or showing off in the channel. And look, see this one, the spiritual growth spread. What I find really interesting is that I'm pretty sure the spiritual growth, you guys will recognize it. This is the same layout almost as that 9-card spread, except it's done in a different way. Like it looks in the same format as that 9-card spread, but each of these is something else. So I'm really excited about these and diving into these spreads. So if you were like hesitant about getting this version of the deck, and I would say it's worth it even just to get a hold of, you know, those spreads and stuff. Now, because this is, I'm debating here. Usually what I do, I like to do it, I call them like chatty walkthroughs, where I'll go over my opinions on each of the cards. Maybe this time I won't so much. I'll just kind of show all the cards and then give some thoughts at the end. Now see, only thing that's hard, I'm not a fan of this box. You kind of, to get these cards out, you have to stick your whole thumb in there and hope that it comes out just to pull them up. Like I said, this is why I'll probably be ditching the box itself, because it is a menace. But now, here's the important part. The actual cards instead of just the guidebook. Holy crap, I was talking for 11 minutes. Oh, you guys can't see it on your side, but I was talking for 11 minutes just showing that part. Let's go into the actual cards. So these are the backs. The backs are reversible. I mean, why would you do upright and reverse meanings if your backs were not reversible? You know, kind of consistent. It's consistent flow. The cardstock is, now I have small hands, so this won't make sense to you guys, but this cardstock is actually, it's actually pretty small. I have small hands, pretty small. Longer than it is wide, okay? And I wish I had, oh shoot, I don't think I have. You know what? I'm randomly gonna pull this out so you guys can see. I think this, what I'm about to show is like standard tarot size. So if I compare them, you can see a lot skinnier and even a lot, like pretty short in comparison, right? So this version of the Zerner Farber, not incredibly long. Cardstock, now I'm always honest about cardstock. I feel like sometimes I've watched people talk about this cardstock and then they said something completely different. I'm going to tell you straight up, this cardstock is okay. It is a mass market, so I'm not expecting it to have the fanciest bells and whistles. It is smooth to the touch, but this cardstock borders, and I say borders because it's not like the worst offender of this, and this is actually okay feeling, especially in the front. It feels softer than in the back. This is close to being that cereal box texture I don't like, but it's not completely, so this is tolerable. If you're someone who cares about cardstock texture or have like autistic issues like me with textures, you'll want to know that. Other thing to note, as you can see, these edges are a matte gold, and you might not think they're matte, but they're not shiny gilding, but it does, as you can see, it catches the light there because the sun is setting. It does sparkle. It's very nice. I actually do like the edging a lot. It does feel a little rough, but I do like the edging. But let's get into the cards. Now, again, this is not a new deck, so people have probably seen these images around. But how this deck differs, even though I don't have that one, but how it differs from the original, like, Enchanted Tarot is, as you can see, the Enchanted Tarot, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone actually owns that version of the deck, it was longer. And then at one point in time, one of the versions of this deck, if it wasn't the Enchanted, used to have another border, colored borders around this border that's already existing here. Okay, so that's the difference. Other cool thing to note, well, this is the Fool, before I show you all the cards. You can't tell in the detailing, but this was all quilted at one point, or like tapestry, I think, which is really impressive. It's just a cool, I don't know, it's a cool deck. I was always interested in getting this deck, but all the different versions I saw required modding, and you know what? This version doesn't. I don't have to mod a thing. I love the borders, the way they look. I love the way that the font is inside the cards. the font and the border and the title for the cards, I mean, are all like within it, and it doesn't look funky. It's really, really nice. So what I'm going to do now is, yeah, I'm going to show all the cards. I'm just making sure I have space here. I'm left-handed, so sometimes I get like confused which direction to go. But anyways, let's try this out. So this is the Fool. The Magician. The High Priestess. The Empress. This is also the cover, the box cover. Really love the colors here. The Emperor. The Hierophant. The Lovers. The Chariot. See, once again, that's the one that's on the guidebook. The image. Interesting Chariot too. It's different. That's what I will say so far as we flip through these. Strength. Some of these images relate to RWS or even Thoth or any of the Tarot de Marseille, the Hermit. But it follows its own thing at the same time. So this is a really interesting deck. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice. And now, sorry if you can hear what sounded like firefighters or something going around. The Hangman. What's interesting is I swear I've seen this image before. I don't know where though. It's really interesting. Death. Temperance. The Devil. I'm going to pause here for a second to explain to, if you haven't already noticed, every card has different bordering on the side. It's to go with the different tapestries that, or quilts and whatever, that made the deck images what they are. This personally doesn't bother me because it's consistent throughout the deck. And I love them. They might be busy to other people, but I love them. I love the way they look. But if you are somebody who does not like your borders being different like this, you might not like this, but yeah. Anyways, let's keep going with the flip through. The Tower. This one's really cool. I mean, they all are, but the Star. The Moon. I really like this moon. Maybe because I'm a Crescent Dreams tarot, you know. The Sun. Judgment. And finally, for the majors, the World. Okay. Now we're on to the wands. Okay, I have to say, I'm trying to reserve judgment. I just want to do a regular flip, like walk, like showing you all the cards first. But there's something about the 80s striped background that I'm not digging, because this is the only card in this whole deck that has this vibe. It's slightly out of place for me, but otherwise, this is the Ace of Wands, not bad. For those who know Thoughtsy, it's starting to do like some of those patterns. Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Five. Six of Wands. Seven. Eight. 9, and the 10. On to our courts. Oh, by the way, I don't know if all the decks will do this. See how I randomly have a line here? I think that's just the way it's printed, but you'll even notice if I go like this. I hope they fix that in more editions of the same thing from Redfeather. As you can see, some of these cards, look, this one's darker, that's lighter, that's more purple. It's like a lot of weird printing errors. And I don't have it on everything, but yeah, I also have like random lines and other things. So just be aware that it does that. In case you like your decks very pristine, they just randomly will look like that. But anyways, this is the Princess of Wands. Again, I don't like it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. This is the princess. Prince. Queen of Wands. And the King. Okay. Now, we're into the swords. This is the Ace of Swords. Oops. 2 of Swords. Interesting in this version that they're not crossed. That's probably a Thoth thing. I don't know much about Thoth, but yeah, it's not crossed in front of her. 3 of Swords. 4 of Swords. 5 of Swords. 6. 7. 8. 9. And the 10 of Swords. Then we got Princess, Prince, Queen, and King. Then we go into the suit. It's interesting that, again, that they made more of a choice to make it hearts instead of cups. So, again, in that way, it kind of does its own thing. But they're really pretty, some of these you're going to see. But this is the Ace of Hearts. I do like that it has a rose. 2 of Hearts. This is also very cute. I love this heart. 3 of Hearts. 4 of Hearts. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And the 10. Then we have Princess of Hearts. It is interesting that they all have a similar way of presenting themselves, but that's the Princess, Prince, his face, Queen of Hearts, and the King. Okay, now we're on to the Pentacles. This is the Ace of Pentacles. 2. 3. 4. 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I really like this castle, actually. And then it goes, of course, into the last ones. Princess, Prince, Queen, and the King. All of them. Okay. Those are all the cards. I'm going to show you guys how it shuffles. I do overhand, so as you can see, very easy, probably because of the cardstock, you know. Oop. So it's pretty easy to shuffle. I don't know about riffle. Again, I don't riffle. It feels slightly thicker. Slightly, probably because it also has like matte edging. So I don't know how flexible that'll be, to be honest. But I always try to note that for people who riffle shuffle. I don't riffle, so I don't know. Other than that, as you guys can see, this is a very interesting deck. I felt like the Pentacles were the most aligned with the RWS. But then you saw like the Wands kind of had a more, what I think is supposed to be Thoth or like Marseille kind of leaning. Even the Swords kind of. The Hearts was like its own system. So this deck kind of just decides, fuck it, I'll do whatever I want, basically. But I'm excited to dive more into the guidebook with the different meanings and even do some of those spreads. I don't know if I have the brain cells right now, since again, I just came off from work, but I knew I needed to film this. If you guys would like me to do some of these spreads with the Zerner Farber, the ones that I showed, because again, there's 12 different spreads. If you would like me to demonstrate those at any time or to try one of those out as like a spread video, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I just wanted to walk through this deck. Or I guess this is more like a flip through, but I reserved some of my thoughts, huh? So I guess that's not a walkthrough. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I get confused with the meanings of the names of things. We'll have like just a flip through, or we'll just have an unboxing, or you'll just have the walkthrough. And so it can be or deep dive. Sometimes I get confused with them. But I feel like that was a thorough walkthrough enough. I could have given thoughts, but there's some of them, it would have been a lot of me, like for instance, Emperor, pretty aesthetics. I swear to God, I've seen this same image pose somewhere. Again, I talked about this one, how I didn't like it. Like, some of these are more obvious in my thoughts. But I also didn't want to bombard too much in case you guys just don't care to hear what I say. Like, this world is an interesting choice. But yeah, this was this deck, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you are thinking about getting this deck, now you know if you might want to pick it up. I personally like it. I will probably be ditching that box, but other than that, yeah. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!